All right, we are now moving on to a new subtopic which is called simultaneous equations. So this is just a revision from grade 10, right? Simultaneous equations. What's really happening? What happens is this. If I come to you and I say that I've got y is equals to mx plus c, you all know that this is the formula to solve a line equation or a linear equation, right? Then let's say you're given y is equal to 2x plus 4. You have got this variable y, you have got this variable x. But if we give you a table, then we say that we set up a table, we say x, y. Then you are told that in this instance, your x is -2, your x is -1. You have been given two values of x. It simply means that you are going to substitute. You are going to replace x with this value of -2. And at another point in time, you will replace x with -1. So let's do that. When I substitute, I say y is equals to 2 multiplied by -2 plus 4. Do you see that now I'm left with finding for 1 because now I know the value of x. So I'm now looking for one variable, which is now y is equals to positive times negative, it's a negative, and 2 by 2 is equals to 4. So I've got -4 and a plus 4. Therefore, I can conclude that my y is equals to 0, right? I was given the x, so my job was just to find one variable, which was y, right? So what I'm trying to explain to you is this. What you have been doing so far, you have been looking or solving for one solution, right? Now, how is simultaneous equations? How are they different? What now happens with simultaneous equation is, let's go back to y is equals to 2x plus 4. This y value, we do not know. X value were not provided. So we have got two unknown variables, two unknown variables. And for those who do not know what variables are, we're simply saying that variables are the letters that you're given on an equation. Those letters represent unknown numbers. We call them variables. Excuse me. Now, we're having this y is equals to 2x plus 4. Let me say that we're given a second equation which says y is equals to 3x minus 2. Observe, we don't know the value of y, we don't know the value of x. But what's happening? This y is equals to 2x plus 4. It's a graph which has got an x-intercept, which has got a y-intercept. This graph also has got one x-intercept and one y-intercept. So what we're simply saying is that these graphs, if we go to a Cartesian plane, maybe let me do this, and let me do that. These two graphs, they meet at a point. This is the point at which they meet. At this point where they are meeting or intersecting, it means that the x for this first graph is identical to the x of the second graph, line graph. The y value at this point for this first equation is identical to the y value of the second equation at this point only. So, in order for us to solve for the x and y, because here we're having two, we're not provided with the value of x or y on both equations, we now have to look for them using these two equations. We have to find x and y using these two equations. That's what simultaneous equations are all about, right? So now, I'm not going to use y is equals to 2x plus 4 and y is equals to 3x minus 2 because these were just examples that came off the top of my head, right? The examples which I'm actually going to use are the ones which I wrote here on top, right? So let me just erase the lower part. All right. So the two equations which have been provided is 2x plus 3y is equals to negative 2. This was the first equation that I was given, so I write it here. 2x plus 3y is equal to negative 2. And x minus 2y is equals to 6. I've got x minus 2y is equal to 6. So I come here and I put 3 dots. Then I tell the examiner that this is my first equation. I put another dot, another 3 dots. I tell the examiner that this is my equation number 2. Now, the method which I'm going to use is what we call substitution. Substitution is simply replacing something with something, right? So, in this particular case, we have not been given both of these equations in a simple format. What do I mean? We have not been given whereby it says x is equal to or y is equal to. So it's my job to rearrange one of these two, and I have to look for the equation which is not difficult to manipulate. So if I check here, I have 2x, it's not readily available. The x, the y is not also readily available here. But if I check here, I've got an x, so I can transpose this negative 2y. So actually, let's do it. So this is the x, that is the x. I transpose this negative 2y, it becomes a positive 2y. So I've got positive 2y plus 6. Then I come here, I say dot, dot, dot. I'm now telling the examiner that from equation 2, I've managed to create a third equation. Now, remember I said that the method which I'm using is substitution. Wherever I'm going to see x in this instance, I'm no longer going to write x. I'm going to replace it with 2y plus 6. This is what I'm going to use. Now, very, very important. Remember, I used equation number 2 to manipulate and to create equation number 3. So where I'm going to substitute x, I cannot use this equation which I used to manipulate and find this one, because it will give me 0. So I will substitute the x which is in equation 1. So now I come and I say 2, open bracket, the x is 2y plus 6, plus 3y is equals to negative, excuse me, is equals to negative 2. Now I say 2 multiplied by 2, it gives me 4. The y comes down as well. 2 multiplied by 6 gives me a positive 12. Then we've got 3y is equal to negative 2. Now what am I going to do? This 12 and this negative 2, they are like terms. This 4y and 3y, they are like terms. So 4y plus 3y gives me 7y. I write 7y is equals to, I've got negative 2 on the right hand side. This was a positive. When I transpose it, it becomes a negative 12. So now I've got 7y is equals to negative 2, negative 12. Now I'm looking for y, I'm not looking for 7y. So I come here and I divide by 7, the coefficient, I divide by 7, right? 7 into 7, it cancels. Then I say, therefore, my y is equals to, when I say negative 2 and negative 12, if you punch your calculator, it will give you negative 14. So basically, we've got negative 14 over 7. But remember, a negative divided by a positive gives you a negative. So you write a negative. A negative 14 divided by 7, it gives you 2. So therefore, your y is equals to negative 2. So remember, we said simultaneous equations. That's where we start. Now, we found y only. We are not yet done. We don't know what is x. So wherever we find y, we can substitute. Now, when we're substituting, we substitute either 1 or 2. At this point, we don't care. So I'm going to take equation number 2. I write x minus 2, open bracket. Where there is y, I now place negative 2, which is equals to 6. X, this negative multiplied by negative, it gives me a positive 4. Negative and negative, positive. 2 times 2, 4. I transpose the 4, it becomes 6 minus 4. So therefore, my x is equals to 2. Then if you want to verify either of these answers, just take them and substitute into the original equations. They must give you negative 2 or 6. That's how you know that you found the right solution. Thank you very much. See you on the next video where we will deal with grade 11 simultaneous equations.